G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. Cheers. Disabuse yourself of the notion that I think myself to be sober. When I grew up with guns. It wasn't until I was 25 or so that I gave up on guns. So, because of imprinting, because of role modeling, because of neural pruning in adolescence, a big part of what's in my frontal lobes is still interested in guns. And therefore, I watch some YouTube channels which are oriented around guns. And two of the channels I watch are Forgotten Weapons with Ian McCollum and In Range TV with Ian's best friend, Karl. Okay, so Forgotten Weapons with Ian
I'm Ian McCollum, and I'm here today at the Rock Island Auction Company taking a look at some of
has a long-term history of making 2 or 3 videos per week, very high-grade historical, mechanical, engineering, gunsmithingly accurate videos about old firearms. And not to put too fine a point on it, the man is brilliant. I mean, he's really, really, really good at researching a particularly rare firearm, figuring out how to pull it to pieces, videoing himself pulling it to pieces, narrating it intelligently, explaining it so that people who've never heard of such a thing can stumble it, and then uploading that to YouTube. And also, many times, Ian, who a lot of people call Gun Jesus because of the way he has a really nice moustache and he has a really nice little chin spinach style of a beard, and he also has long hair which kind of, comes down to halfway down his back, and he habitually wears it in a ponytail. So therefore, he sort of kind of looks a fair bit like Wild Bill Hickok or perhaps Colonel Cody. You know, famous images of American Wild West cowboys, gunslingers, specialist trick shooters. That's what Ian McCollum looks like. Um, and Ian also appears on In Range TV, which is run by a fella called Karl. And, Karl, sort of one side of his head shaved, he has a thicket of hair across the top and several, or sometimes one, rat tails plaited at the other side on the back. And Karl's much more into esoteric academic discussions of internet protocols and competing in 2-gun, 3-gun trials, pretending to be comparative with various battles at various times. I mean, you know, it's difficult to explain to somebody who hasn't seen one of his videos. So here's the sort of thing where you have Karl on the left and Ian on the right. And what we're looking at is hand weapons of World War One.
Great Scott, it's a secret operational. And is that who I think it is? That's it. That's all it is. It's all like that. And if you watch the original training videos or training film strips, it would have been at the time, while they're not typically using weapons, it's usually hand-to-hand. It is something to get the guy on the ground, and then a combination of 2 or 3 strikes in different places to incapacitate them once they're on the ground. You would have to be a really hard...
Or perhaps the 2-gun match 1918 Storm Truppen versus realigned Landwehr World War One.
I'm really looking forward. As you can tell, because you spent how much money on actually properly period correct years. We don't have to get into that.
Okay, so for a while it's been fairly obvious to me that Ian McCollum, aka Gun Jesus, is more or less Karl's wife. They're a pair of ballistic death machine penis extending poofters. And tonight they came out,
Thank you for tuning in to another
as you can
episode of
see.
the great demographic of the firearms community of really seeing an influx of men interested in firearms and self-defense. Right. And we know that men have some pretty unique needs when it comes to firearms, both defensive shooting and sport shooting. So we're concerned. We want to make sure that this new demographic stays with us. And so we've put together an interesting panel of experts here to discuss the relevant question: what is the best handgun for men? So what do you think? You are all clearly experts on handguns for men, and we figured we'd get your input.
Aaron Sith once hooked up with a Navy SEAL, Melody Galore, Delta Force training officer, Annette Evans, professional gun bunny.
First, though, I think we can talk about, men's hands, right? So men have really big hands. I mean, just universally, they have amazingly big hands. So we need to think of really filling that palm space in those fingers by perhaps getting the biggest gun that we can find. I'm thinking Desert Eagle is a really great place to start. The Smith & Wesson 500 has a really nice ring to it. What do you think of that?
Sometimes I think we should just skip right up to the shockwave.
Interesting. That's, I didn't expect that, actually.
And we worry about their ability to aim. They don't have the fine motor control. They don't have the patience to line up the sights. And if we're going to go to a shotgun round, so they have that spread, that big spread, all they have to do is point the gun in the right direction. And they're big men. They can carry a big gun, and they need something for those hands. The shockwave really might be the way to go.
Yeah, I think the thing with too, especially with their big hands and these big sausage fingers, and they need they love handling complex things, so we need as many buttons and levers as we can possibly get on there.
Well, they're so much more intelligent than women that they really can kind of figure out these complex things. Whereas we really need those really minimal buttons and stuff, like the revolvers and stuff. So they need really complex machinery to feel like they are really grasping that and getting
Yeah, the time motor controls here, they have less accuracy, so they're going to need more ammo to begin with. I mean, they need more powerful guns. Like I always recommend minimum anything in Magnum for a man. I think it's basically they need as much ammo as possible. I recommend extended magazines, probably nice
the
strap.
33-round magazines are amazing. Some of them are just too low of a caliber, like the 9mm. That's a little too low for a man. I want to maybe step it up a little bit, but it's hard to find those super long. But it's hard to find those extended magazines for the really big calibers like that.
The market just hasn't started responding to men's needs yet. All they're doing is taking guns for women and making them bigger. That's not good enough.
You're right. That is not good enough. And we need to think about carry issues too, because men never have problems carrying guns. I mean, like they have the bigger bellies.
Yeah.
In general, that
baggy clothes.
yeah, that they drape over like appendix carry if they want to do that. So they just don't. Yeah, it's easier for them to carry guns. So they can carry whatever they want.
The long slide guns too, I recommend I found the guys that I teach, they love it when a long slide gun carried appendix. Apparently it's very flattering to men for some reason. I don't quite figure that out. But they love the look when they have a nice long slide, full size gun in appendix. Maybe especially because men love rails, they love accessories, they love attaching stuff. So it's got with a big light on it or something, in the front, they just look pretty proud of themselves when they have it there for some reason.
And a man who's happy with his gun will actually carry his gun.
Well, that's a very good point. So what I'm hearing here is power, heft, complexity.
Yes, absolutely.
Those things and mass altogether really are something that isn't really addressed in this demographic to bring these people in and keep them in the industry or really willing to defend themselves should they need to.
Well, and you know what? The other thing too is the clothes. The fishing vests make fantastic cover garments that really, if maybe we just kind of customize them a little bit more to the men's desires, then maybe that would help them a little bit more with feeling comfortable in this industry.
Yeah, it's a powerful aesthetic, I have to say.
Yes.
Black. I mean, why don't they come in black?
Black.
It's their favorite color.
Black, yes.
That's right.
All men love black. Why can't we get more of these accessories?
Or very, very dark red.
Yeah.
That works as well. That works as well. We gotta be careful about that because not every guy wants black.
Yeah.
Some like dark red as well.
Fishing vests are typically tan or even sometimes I've seen pink.
discerning men, especially, it's great for the accessories with the guns. Some of them really like that chrome, reminds them of those classic muscle cars.
And Jesus and Karl finally come out.
That's all chromy and shiny.
Right.
I don't know what that thing does.
That one
But
thing,
it's fascinating. Is that for some reason?
So I think we should accommodate that. I mean, like I said, if they don't like their guns, they're not going to shoot them.
and bringing it onto, bringing them into the range, really though, we don't need to, because men really are born just instinctively knowing how to shoot guns. They're not as accurate as women are, because, let's just face it, ladies, we have superior learning skills than men, and we take to it a little better, we have better fine motor skills, and we're just naturally better at shooting, but they, at the same time, are just instinctively born knowing how to shoot guns. We really don't necessarily have to bring them into classes. We just need to get them that big gun and just let them loose at the range. They'll figure it out. They don't need a whole lot of guidance there. But maybe if we wanted to make it a little bit more attractive to them, maybe some pictures of muscle cars on the walls. Really make them feel comfortable.
Make the space invite.
Yes.
Some pictures of muscle tards on the walls.
Or not. I mean, we want to make sure that this is where men want to be.
That's typically untapped in media advertising for guns. So I find that to be a unique perspective. That's really good.
You're right. They should really go after that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's obviously an obvious choice, trying to get men to come in and buy products that they apparently need. They're going to be part of this community.
Exactly.
So if we were going to wrap this all together, if you had one recommendation for the best handgun for men, what would it be?
I'm still sticking with the shockwave. I think it really is the perfect choice for them. And if they really need something smaller, that NPD summer gun, perhaps a judge would be a good choice. I mean, I know that revolvers might be a little bit too simple, but we do have to compromise sometimes.
I gotta say, with the shotgun, I think one thing that would really appeal is that it is a two-hand rifle. So
Yes.
that two-handed manipulation, but this isn't the same as this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot downplay the power too much, you can't emphasize it enough. Like that heavy recoil is so important to a man. They need to feel that power. Or else it's just not going to be worth it to them.
So should the shockwave have more, like, controls, perhaps? There's not a lot on the shotgun. So maybe they need to do something to enhance that for a man. A light on the floor.
Maybe a laser as well. Guys love Mila to shoot things out there, see what's going to happen.
I think it appeals to the hunter-gatherer side.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't really have to even do anything. You just stack as much stuff on as you absolutely can, and it really doesn't have to do anything. That's not the important part.
So
Just makes them feel better about what they're using.
okay.
Makes
So
them comfortable with it.
are you on board with the shockwave as well? Or do you
I
have a
like
different
that.
opinion?
I also like you said, this is less than 500. Is a good. It is more simple, and so sometimes it takes a little bit more, encouragement to get a man to really commit. But I think that once he realizes just the raw power of that cartridge and the cost. I mean, come on, it's like $1.50 a round. I mean, that alone is a selling point.
Yeah.
Because you cannot get expensive enough for a guy. That's just how it is. So
Well, finally, I just sort of had to pause it because we're coming to the upload limit, but I think I can rest my case that Gun Jesus and Karl have come out as husband and wife. After the final episode of the British World War II ration 1 week experiment, wherein Ian, aka Gun Jesus, mentioned his thanks to, quote, the missus. And there was a huge hue and cry and an uproar in the comment thread. But anybody who hasn't figured out that those two blokes who live together in the Arizona desert and spend so much time together that they can upload 4 videos per week on each other's channels, if you haven't figured out that they are more than just business partners, you haven't been paying attention, honey bun chickens. Some of the world's most competent gun freaks are not heterosexual. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.